Good evening. This is Reverend Pam Geagan from the Center for Spiritual Living, Pleasant Valley in Camarillo, California. And I am here because I'm giving a talk on supernatural normal. And what this is all about, in essence, is that, um, and I invite you to bring a pen and paper too, because we're going to do a little quiz that will help reveal how you perceive life. But when it comes to challenges and our problems, what I've learned is they can be solved inside. They're never solved with outside solutions. So, changing our thinking and changing the way we live our lives comes from the wisdom within. How many times have we heard this before and recognized it, that that is what's happening? But it's true. When we go within and we listen to that still small voice within, that is when we get what is supposed to be happening in and through an as. But how many times do we get messages and we don't understand them? So, in this moment, by the way, I just want to hold again Texas in consciousness and just know that there is something unfolding that's greater. And we don't know what that is, but I just hold all those parents in that town in my heart, along with everybody who needs a prayer today. And we'll close with a prayer when we leave. But when it comes to challenges, speaking of which, we look at ourselves objectively, without judgment. When we do that, it allows us to move through our feelings and our challenge, whatever it may be. And when we can move through any challenge and see beyond the challenge, then that is when we begin to transform our lives, and we transform those challenges into revealing richer, greater life. And we can begin at the beginning, as I always say. I am not sure where that's from. I think it's Alice in Wonderland, but I think they say begin at the beginning. And how we begin at the beginning is looking into our inner world, for that is where our true power lies. And just like the Wizard of Oz, speaking of the Wizard of Oz, the power, as Dorothy is told by the wizard, who actually becomes, who is not is not represented correctly because he's just a little man behind a booth, behind the curtain, that the power has always been within her and she can always go home. And that is what we're talking about now, going within, connecting to the great beyond within, and getting whatever we need from those messages and trusting those messages. So Wayne Dyer wrote, "Peace is the result of retaining your mind to process life as it is, rather than as you think it should be." And by the way, before I go any further, this is based on a book, Return to You by Shannon Kaiser. It's a spiritual tool, how to use spiritual tools book, as I say, and it is on the best-selling list, or was at one point. So the more you begin to trust yourself and believe in yourself, the more you're connected to divine source. And the faster that ego of yours dissolves, that keeps you separate from source. And once that dissolves, joy flows in and through and as you in all areas. So, as I stay in the I am here, I invite you to listen deeply to your intuition. I do, and many of us do. But it is the language of the heart when you listen to it, and it speaks so loudly from whomever you meet, as Emerson said, that you can't hear a word they're saying. Their energy, whenever you meet someone, portrays their real beingness and hits you on that soul level. I know for my own self, when I meet someone, I usually have to go back and ask their name again. And ever since I was a child, I was like this. It's not just because I'm getting older now. I always had to ask their name because I was always picking up the essence of the energy of the people all around me, and the name meant nothing. So, how we learn and how we trust that inner intuition is by learning the language of the heart, and that is our intuition. And that intuition is what guides us and provides us with profound wisdom. And it is the greatest practice ground for achieving inner peace. And that's what meditation is all about. Spiritual principle is all about. Going and searching the great beyond within, as I said again, in your spirituality and connecting with that one source. But how do we get in touch with our inner guides? And one of the quickest ways was I found in Shannon Kaiser's book, and it's Discovering Your Intuition Style. And so I invite you, I'll give you a moment to take out pen and paper. This is a short quiz. So I'll be asking you questions. I'll read the questions twice, and then I'll write down the letter and then I'm asking you to write down the letter in the categories that mostly apply to you. So question 1 is, how do you learn best? And A is when information is written or drawn and you can see it. B, it is when spoken or listened to via audio or TV and you can hear it. Or is it through personal experiences that you experience your feelings? And D is when you research, learn facts, and dive deeper into your inner knowing. Is that how you learn best? So how do you learn best? A, when the information is written or drawn for you so you can see it. B, when it is spoken, listened to via audio or TV and you can hear it. Or through personal experiences and experiencing your feelings. D, when you research, learn facts, and dive deeper into your inner knowing. So write that letter down, A, B, C, or D. And now, how do you make decisions? Decisions are always hard for all of us to make, I think, at different times. Some are snap decisions and they're right on because we listen to our intuition and know that it's right. But lots of times we come to our decision making through different methods. So, how do you make decisions? A, visualizing the outcome, making vision boards, looking at how things are supposed to be. B, talking it, talking it out, or listening to others' advice and guidance. So you're talking and listening. C, gut feeling, inner knowing. Or D, based on past experiences, you create a new vision from based on all your past experiences. Let me read this again. How do you make decisions? A, visualizing the outcome or making something like a vision board. B, talking to or listening to others' advice and guidance. C, feeling that gut feeling, inner knowing. Or D, you make decisions based on your past experiences. So write down that letter, A, B, C, or D. Number 3, when you watch a great movie, do you remember most of it? By what method? The scenery and cinematography is A, visual effects, costumes, all the visuals, basically how it looks. B, do you remember it and remember it most by the soundtrack? C, how it made you feel. Or D, I'm sorry, the storyline, the characters, and acting. So when you watch a great movie is the question, how do you remember it most? A, the scenery, the cinematography, visual effects, costumes, etc., how the movie looks. B, the soundtrack. C, how it made you feel. D, the storyline, the characters and the acting. So take a moment and write down A, B, C, or D. We only have a couple more questions here. Number 4. What do other friends say about you? Do they say you help? This is question A. Do they say you help them see things in unique new ways? B. They say you're a great listener and always there for them? C. You give excellent advice? Or D. You are loyal and trustworthy? So, what do other friends say about you? A. You help them see things in unique new ways. B. You're a great listener and always there for them. C. You give excellent advice. D. You are loyal and trustworthy. So write down the letter A, B, C, or D, how you see what others people say about you. Now, number 5, this is the last question. When you communicate with others, how do you respond to let them know you understand? Do you say A, I see what you mean, B, I hear you, C, I feel you, D, I know what you mean? So here again, last question. When you communicate with others, how do you respond to let them know you understand? A, I see what you mean. B, I hear you. C, I feel you. D, I know what you mean. So now, I'm going to give you a moment to add up all the A's. How many A's were there, if any? And now, how many B's were there, if any? How many C's there were, if any? And how many D's were there, if any? And the answers will help you find your intuition and inner knowing style. So I'll let you add that up. I'll just give you another moment here. It's like Jeopardy. Da, 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 da. So if you circled mostly A's, you are clairvoyant, clear seeing. You have inner seeing. Your intuition speaks directly to you in the form of sight. It is your dominant sense, and you may see images in your mind or interpret information through pictures. You have the ability to see events from the past, present, and future in your mind. When we speak to people, when you speak to people, and when people speak to you, you may see images to interpret what they say, and you learn best by seeing and experiencing. So you see life and you internalize that inner knowing and connect to your source by seeing it, watching it express in those visuals in your life. So now, if you circled mostly B's, you're clairaudient, which means clear hearing. Clairaudience is a way of receiving intuitive messages without using your physical ears, but rather hearing messages with your mind. Your higher self spirit, the universe, talks to you through your ears. Then clairaudient abilities in that point open up to you. You may notice even before you raise your vibrational rate to be more clairaudient, you may notice ringing in your ears, changes or pressures in your ears, such as popping or buzzing noises, or pressures in your ears that help you absolutely hear voices in other ways. In other words, your hearing is changing, and the pressure and the buzzing and the ringing or whatever it is in your ears is a way of letting you know that it is clear audience that is trying to get to you so that you can hear, and that is how you embrace things. Don't intuitive, don't worry, you are not going crazy, but rather opening up to your intuitive channel. That's what clairaudience is. It is an inner hearing. For example, you may suddenly hear that little small voice inside of you. You may get right, or it may say something like, go right or stop. And that's when you trust that voice. It's your intuition guiding you. By the way, a lot of clairaudient people speak to themselves. Not only are they involved in clairvoyancy, but they're also clairaudient where they have clear hearing. So they see and then they speak to themselves to see if it resonates with that soul. Now, we're moving on. If you circled mainly C's, you're clairsentient, clear feeling. Many empaths are clairsentient. So clairsentience is the ability to receive intuitive messages through your feelings, via your feelings, emotions, or physical sensations. And again, you have that empathetic feeling for the emotions of others. Sometimes you even have to block yourself off because it's so strong. So that empathy is a form of clairsentience, and you will get most of your information via the feeling nature of who you are or sensing subtle energies around you. People who are clairsentient can sense others' emotions and easily pick up on their energy. Now, if you circled mostly D's, you're cognizant. You have clear knowing. Claircognizance is the ability to just know something without logic or facts. It may help you think of it as inner knowing. For example, if you know that you shouldn't trust your neighbor or go down that street that you just decided to pass at night and you don't know why, it's because that is claircognizance. Claircognizant feelings can be very strong. They also come in the form of intuitive thoughts and can pop into your head at random. This is often the most mistrusted or misunderstood of intuitive abilities because there is no real evidence, just an inner pool. That ego mind will try to convince you it's not true, but you're hiding in the knowing that there is a certainty when you deny the truth. You know that you know that you know, and you know it's the truth and you trust it. So all of these things are just a way to help you recognize how your learning abilities come from and what paths they come from, and how you can connect with others. After I read the clairsentient and all of them, clairaudient and clairsentient and claircognizant, I thought all of the clairs, as a matter of fact, and clairvoyant definitions, I now see how I can connect with others. When someone is telling me they hear me, I realize that they're listening to words and not going to their feelings. When someone says, I feel your pain, that means that they are not only they're they're claircognizant, clairsentient, and they're picking up my emotions. And then with claircognizance, we know absolutely something, and we don't know that all of a sudden we just know it's truth. It is so interesting. There are many times I have known the answer to math problems or an algebra problem, without even doing the work. I just knew it. And I think that's because of the claircognizance sometimes. So other times I make really ridiculous choices because I refuse to listen to that inner knowing. And my inner knowing, when I listen to the truth, I always say, well, thank you for sharing, but this is what I really want to do. But if I listened and resonated with that inner knowing, I think a lot of my choices would be so much greater. So your outside world is a reflection of your inner world. Reality, including fear, pain, suffering, separation, joy, love, compassion, understanding, is only a reflection of our inner state. So, in closing, to understand and experience the energetic miracles that surround us, surround you, you are waiting to be revealed and that are waiting to be revealed within you. And as you witness those everyday miracles in your world, that is what a supernatural normal person experiences in their lives. They listen. They listen in their fashion, whether it is clairvoyant seeing, clairaudient, clear hearing, clairsentient, clear feeling, or claircognizant, clear knowing. All of those things, when in those areas, how you experience life many times is one of those things that makes you feel like you are that intuitive, that psychic, that mystic, or whatever it is. But it's always been there, just like Dorothy. For you have, you know your way home, just like Dorothy had the power to always go home from the Wizard of Oz. She just had to remember who she was, the divine person inside, and click her heels 3 times and wish her way home. So you have the power to create your own reality. Intentionally, uh, you can do this through deeper listening, meditation, prayer, listening deeply to those who are with you, and listening, seeing, and recognizing the feelings of those who are deeply with you, and to continue to go and explore the great beyond within, the greatest mystery and exploration of our lives. For it's up to each one of us to create our lives, our mystical, everyday, magical life. Or if you don't, it will be created for you. So when you recognize that it's up to you to listen deeply, react from those emotions, whatever they are, or from the sight, the sounds, the information all around you and what resonates at your deepest level, that is when your life is unfolding perfectly, no matter what, as our wonderful Betty Ann says. So right now, I just invite you to go within right now with me. Just absolutely going within and just pulling from the highest and high into the deepest of deep. And as I say a prayer, let us hold all those in consciousness that need a prayer today. For all of us are agents of the universe, here to understand who we are. So I breathe in with the God is on the in-breath. I am on the out-breath, just connecting to that deeper inner beingness. And 2 more. And as I go to sleep tonight, I go into the quiet. I go and I ask that higher self to come to me and reveal to me those truths that need to be revealed right here and right now. That truth of being, that those who we love in the heaven world are only a breath away, closer to us than the very breath we breathe, our hands and feet. And that when we are open and receptive to listening to that which is all around us, that which is within us, that which expresses as us, And we trust that no matter what is happening in the world or the world of our affairs, we understand, we grow. We grow and we raise our vibrational rate beyond where we are. And we see more clearly, we hear more clearly, we speak more clearly, we feel in ways that we've never felt before in greater understanding. And we call it good and very good. So tonight, rest easy, be at peace. I love each and every one of you, and I'll see you Sunday. Mwah! God is, I am. That's the way it is. It's the only way it can be. And together we say, and so it is. Namaste, blessed be, peace out. See you on the flip side on Sunday.